Alright boys, the game has been out for a while now, so I think it is in due time for an updated tier list. My last one was like 5 days into the game, right? And we've learned so much more about the game. I've learned so much more about like the intricate numbers and stuff, certain rotations, everything, how you want to play the game, right? It's very, very different now, right? I still think my initial one isn't like too inaccurate, but like, I do want to change some things. And now Jing Yuans out too, so I can rate him. So we're going to be ranking the 5 stars. I'm going to make a DPS and a support tier list like separately as well. Sub if you knew, please, thank you. Okay, cringe. Right, let's start with Bailu. I'll do alphabetical again, right? So if you see a character you want to listen to later on and not now, then you can just skip on the video. It's fine. I don't blame you. All right, Bailu, excellent healer, has revive, really, really good at healing, like incredibly good at healing. Much better than Natasha, obviously. Although Natasha has her, you know, she has the whole like debuff thing that cleanse she has, which can come in clutch when you're like frozen or something. And it's pretty nice. But Bailu's heal is like triple that what Natasha does on average, and she has a revive. It's so clutch. The only endgame content we have right now is Forgotten Halls. I don't consider Simulated Universe endgame content. I feel like the very first 6 worlds you cleared were like sort of tough because you're like, okay, you're still figuring stuff out. Your team wasn't really established, but now you can pick like any character. Pick the same path that the characters. Like I'll pick Clara, I'll pick Elation because it's like follow-up attack stuff, and then I can press auto pretty much for the entire thing. So I think later on it's not an end game mode anymore. It is nice to farm though. It's really fun. I love that mode. But I think Forgotten Halls right now is the only one I really want to evaluate characters in. And for that, Bailu's really good, right? It really helps with the mission that no one dies because she revives them. She gives you a second chance. You can play sort of more aggressively and not use her skill points to heal because it's fine if someone dies, she revives them and then you can proc to heal. That's really good for that. I don't want to put an S tier. Like she's really good, but I think like S tier is just so. Like I really want to put like the elite here. Like, she's super good to have, but I want to put like the elite of the cast here, right? Which speaking of, someone I started disliking a lot, right? I'm very biased against her, but I can't deny that she's an S tier. Bronya. Bronya's really good. Obviously, she can fast forward people back to the action. So if you have someone that's slightly faster than Bronya, they do their action. Bronya is there. They do their action again. Like it's so good. Not only does she give you a crazy damage increase. As in the actual damage increase you get from the skill, she gives you a damage increase because you hit more times during the same cycle, and she gives you a damage increase because you're hitting more times during a cycle, you get your ultimate quicker too, and her ultimate is crazy too. So fantastic character. My only gripe is that she doesn't work too well with Jing Yuan. You can obviously make her work. If you have her E1, I'd be a lot more comfortable running her with Jing Yuan, but yeah. Anyway, really good character, right? She buffs. The way you want to play her is with energy recharge, because then you can get her ultimate on a much more quicker rotation. You can get it 1 more time during the whole like Forgotten Halls like 8 cycle fight. But overall, like this character is crazy, right? The thing is too, like she does decent damage for like what she is. She's a support character, but she has the whole thing with like she guaranteed crits. Like one of their traces, she guaranteed crits on her basic attack, which is good. And then her, the way you want to build is full of crit damage, right? And you can bypass the whole crit chance thing because you always crit. So you can just build infinite crit damage, and then her buff gets stronger too, and it buffs crit damage, and it's just really strong overall. You can build a team around her stats, right? If she has a lot of crit damage, you might be more interested in building a lot of crit rate and not going too much into your crit damage, because then you sort of benefit more from her, right? You get less diminishing returns on her crit damage. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, fantastic character, right? Obviously, like if you pull her, if you lose your 50-50 to her, unfortunately, you lost your 50-50, but you should be happy, okay? Absolute just beast. Same with the next character, Clara. Clara is absolutely just broken. I know the Chinese... the Chinese player base, they don't rate her too highly from like the few tiers I've seen on Bilibili, but she is crazy. I don't know what they're not seeing. Clara is, if you like count her overall DPS, she'll do in a fight, right? Like her initial hits won't do that much. Outside of her ultimate, they won't do that much. But like I think she gets like, she does her like skill, right? They're all marked, she does her skill, and then they all hit her once. That is so much damage added up over the course of a fight, right? She's so good at providing damage, and you kind of never have to use her skill. Her skill is good, right? Obviously, especially if you have E1, because then you can always skill, and she always gets a bonus damage from the marked enemies. But if you don't skill for her and you just basic and ult with her, she'll still do so much good damage as a sub DPS. So you can like slot her into almost any team. It's so good. It's so good. And she has a higher chance of getting hit, so she helps you with hiding other characters from getting hit, like Yanqing, who doesn't want to get hit, or pretty much any DPS, but like him specifically because of his passive. And then she has all like play around in certain like boss fights that you can like abuse for her ultimate in that sense. And the counter is just really strong, right? Enemy spawns something, right? The boss hits her. Her stuff is AoE. She'll clear the ones on the side. She'll break the ones on the side. It's really strong. Really strong character. Right? She is so good. I don't know what. I generally don't know. Like I don't like to use this This like site too much for like DPS, because this is not like the end all be all, right? You shouldn't just look at this and be like, okay, yeah, she's the best AoE DPS, right? Or like, all right, well, this is true though, but like, even like, okay, well, Yanqing is down here, yeah, well, I guess he sucks, right? Or like stuff, right? And like, oh, I guess he just does this damage. He will always do more single target damage than Jing Yuan. It really depends on like the way you set up your team, the way you have your rotation set up, what type of enemy you're going against, right? It's so, this is like a nice like thing to I can't think of the word, but to like look at, to like, you know, guide yourself into the correct direction on who to build maybe. But it's not the end all be all, like, oh my god, okay, so like I'm just gonna build Danheng, I screw my Yanqing. But so yeah, anyway, I just want to mention that. But it's nice to look at this, and she does have, especially E6, her E6 is crazy. It like doubles her ultimate pretty much, because you get one more tick, and damage wise that's like, it's a 50% damage increase. But then the other like constellations make it so she does more damage in the counters and everything. Crazy. Especially if you have a light count, her light count is crazy good. But yeah, she kind of is not like it says here too, like one target B. I don't agree. I think it's at least like an A. She's still really good against single targets, but she does shine against multiple. If there's multiple, she is the queen. Right? She's our barefoot queen, and she's not of age, so don't be weird about it. Thank you. Now Gepard. Gepard's someone I notoriously didn't rate highly, because the Fire MC over the course of a fight will provide a lot more shields to your team, because he does it on every action, right? So he'll just over the course, like the amount of shielding he gives you is much more valuable than Gepard, and I still think that way, right? I still think that way. I still think the Trailblazer Fire is more valuable than Gepard in a lot of situations, but especially just for Forgotten Halls, I feel like Gepard slightly has the edge here, because you just ult with him, right? And then that will sort of like carry over for like the entire fight. Actually, yes, I can click this. I didn't know you can click this, right? We can look at his ultimate here, which is his... Hello? This thing, there. Applies a shield allies, right, it's a lot of his defense, plus 150, well, this you can level up, and then for 3 turns, right? 3 turns is huge. 3 turns is usually enough, like, to, like, not get your ultimate back necessarily. He does have the passive that he gets hit more often, so he'll get hit more often, get more energy, but he still has, like, sort of an energy problem. But overall, like, the ultimate is so strong, and for Forgotten Hall specifically, where I feel like you don't actually need healers, if you can just, like, survive, it's good enough, and he does exactly that. He helps you survive. Again, I think, like, putting him in A tier is good enough. If you have him E6 though, bro, his constellations, or his Eidolons, they are crazy. Well, his 6th one mainly. His 6th one's really crazy. Because you just get him killed, he moves again. Getting his tiles up is really good too. These two are really good, right? At the first one, so you can freeze more often. This turns into a mini vet. Like his Eidolons are really strong. So if you lose your 50-50 to him over and over again, it's not like Chi-Chi and Genshin, you know, you'll actually be happy on this guy. Now, I didn't want to do him next, but I guess I'll do him next. He's like a Gepard, but like more effective. I want to put him into S tier, especially because he is free. So like, but like, I feel like I don't want to value that at the same time, right? But he is like top of A, I think. He's so effective. Right, all you do is basic attack, basic attack, basic attack. You can stack. So bosses will have certain rotations, right? Like certain bosses will do 2 AoEs on a single target, and you can sort of know when they do it, right? If you know a boss, you know when they do single targets. And for those who do the stance, and you taunt them, right? And that's really strong, because he takes no damage when he's in a stance, pretty much. And the shield over the course of fight, right? All like the smaller hits, they all get absorbed by the shield. Like people sleep on the shield. It's much more impactful than you think. And then he has the AoE stuff that helps with like breaking multiple enemies, especially if they're weak to fire. Especially because fire doesn't have the best options right now. So overall really, really valuable, but everyone has them, so his value is infinite, I guess. In that sense, sorta, not really, I don't know. But he's really strong, obviously, really, really strong character. But yeah, I mean, everyone knows what he does. Super effective. You can slot him on any team and you'll feel good about it, right? Same with Gepard, same with all these three, right? I think that's what the A tier is, right? You can slot him into any team and you'll be happy. But you put these into your team and you'll be very happy, right? That's how I'm thinking about it. Now, Himeko, also a very notoriously hated character. Unfortunately, I can put these both up, right? They're both erudition characters and they both have a sort of similar playstyle. They're both AoE focused and they both break opponents very well. And they sort of have the same game plan, sorta. But it is great. Like, she looks like a 3-star in comparison to him, right? Her thing is she does the little robot when they're like broken, right? And then you have to like get the robot charges up again and stuff. The little drone. He just has his Golden Lord and he'll just smack down. Their skills will do similar damage, right? Like, even though his skill's not supposed to damage. I think Himeko slept on. I'll put her in B tier. I won't put her in C tier like many people will. I think she slept on, right? She doesn't have a place. Like, we need someone that like makes it so like I don't know, like someone that can amplify her like break stuff in some sort of way, or in like follow up attack stuff. But like anyone that would be good support for her would be better support for Clara and Jing Yuan, right? And Jing Yuan is just, I mean, he is here, okay? I'm just gonna mention this very quickly. He is here, okay? But like Himeko stuff, if she had like if they turn into a dot character, like she breaks stuff, the draws and everything, but she applied like crazy amounts of burn, she could be an S tier, I think, because then she her whole game plan would be different. But now all she does is a bit of like very, very little AoE damage, and then she breaks stuff, and then every now and then she'll do decent damage. That's all she does. That doesn't sound like a 5-star to me. Doesn't sound like a premium character to me, right? So, and then her also like her light cone is so bad. Like, this has nothing to do with her, but like it's so sad how like the whole universe hates her. She's so hot. Why is she not better? She should be here, bro. She should be here, okay? Because looks wise, she is number 1, I think, or at least up there. And it's just so sad that they cucked her so much. But yeah, anyway, Zele. Now, obviously, let's talk about these two. So Jing Yuan, very good AoE DPS, right? Very good AoE DPS, crazy good at breaking, because every attack count of the Golden Lord will apply 1 instance of toughness break, right? So if you have 10, he'll do 10 instances of basic attack break on the enemy. So you'll break stuff so quick, right? And he does so much damage. Even single target, he'll do so much damage, right? And if you play him well, you'll always be at like 8-ish, right? You'll be at between 6 and 10, but most of the time it'll be like 8 to 10, rather. And it's just so strong. He does so much damage. If you just have the right stats for him, he's so easy to use, because you just press skill. There's no like double resurgence you have to learn. There's no like ulting before you attack on her every now and then if you can't get the double resurgence, because then you get the 8% damage increase stuff. There's none of that. It's just skill, Golden Lord smacks down, skill, Golden Lord smacks down, ult, skill, Golden Lord smacks down, skill, you know, you get the point. So strong. So strong. He's so good. For Forgotten Halls too, he's so good. Again, if you're somehow struggling with Simulator Universe because you're still early on in the game, he will absolutely demolish it if you pick Elation. Fantastic character. I love him. I'm very biased towards him, if you can't tell, right? He's exactly my type of character. And then we have Zele, who I say is better. She is better than Jing Yuan. Easily, she's better, right? I know she's not the new shiny toy anymore, so people will like start downplaying her like weirdly. And then people, I already know, in like a week from now, I'll see people calling her underrated. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're right, because people are being weird. But she is so strong. She is still the best character in the game, I think. I'm like certain of it. She can do the same AoE he does on a decent turn. And then single target wise, she does what he does in 3 turns in 1 turn, right? And they're both DPS, so what matters the most is DPS. Now, she's a lot more skill point hungry, especially like if you get multiple resurgent procs, and especially because most people will run her with Bronya. It's just so skill point heavy, but that's fine, because you will she will put those skill points to a very good use. She will be rolling enemies left, right, center, blowing them up, absolutely blasting them. And that's why I think she's the best character. And I wish you could sort on this page. I could go to like a regular tier maker page, but I feel like this one's just prettier, so I want to do this one. But Yeah, I'd say she's number 1 in the game. I'd say he's number 2, right? I think that sort of makes sense, right? They're, you know, the release characters. But yeah, she's crazy. She's super crazy. Super crazy. What a character. Like, she is... God, she'll be downplayed by like people that have Jing Yuan that don't have her. I have both, fortunately, and I am very much biased to him, and I will call him cooler and better than her. But she is better. Like, she is better. Right? Let's be real, guys. She is better. He's crazy broken too, right? If she's a 10 out of 10, he's a 9.9 out of 10. Like, it's not like she's like it's like 2 different leagues, right? They're both in S tier, right? I feel like I could make a tier just for these 2 above these, or I could move everyone down, but I feel like they're still all the elite. I feel like Bronya's really, like, if you pull her, you're almost as happy as if you pull Zaylee, because she enables everyone, pretty much. And Clara is good on every team, and Jing Yuan can like roll everything, right? So I think S tier for all of these does still make sense. But if you did want to get like super specific, I'd have to make an S plus tier just for these 2, I think, and then she'd still be number 1. I think she's still number 1 in the game. But yeah. Trevor's a physical, another very downplayed character. He actually has a very good use. Let me show you guys. So in Simulator Universe, okay, you'll run the Fire MC because he's better. What you can do, if you get the crew that lowers your HP to 1, right, which all my characters are 1 HP here, you lose 99%. What you could do is you can switch mid Simulator Universe your character to the physical one, use his talent to restore everyone's HP. I actually like get the full because I use these 2 as well, and then switch back to fire, you know? And that's, you know, that is pretty good. And also damage-wise, people sleep on him so much. If you build him well, he does so much damage. Like, obviously not the craziest damage, but like his ult single target is actually like respectable, I think. I have a friend who's free to play, and I used his like recently because he doesn't have many other characters. And I was surprised. I was like, this guy can actually cook. And I was like, okay, let's see his build. His build wasn't even that good. So if you build him well, he can cook, right? So if you like his little bonk animation with his baseball bat, hey, you can build him, you can have fun. I think you can build any character in this game and clear every content so long as they're built well enough, right? And some make it easier than others, but in the end, if you like a character, you can make them work. So tiers don't matter, but people care. People want their shiny things, they want their shiny things to be validated, right? They'll be like validated and they feel like, oh yeah, okay, I lost 50-50 to like Clara. I'm mad now. Let me watch this tier list. Oh, wait, she's S tier. Okay, you know what? I'm not that mad anymore. And people need this like sort of validation that what they spent their money and their summons on was worth it, right? So that's why tier lists do well. But anyway, he I think is good too. Like so downplayed by so many people. Obviously he's not crazy. He's not gonna like impress you like crazy, but he can get the job done, right? Obviously he has competition in physical DPS department. Su Shang like absolutely just rolls him, right? She's not on this list, but like she absolutely rolls him in the DPS compartment, especially if you have E1 and you don't need to use skill points. And then Claire obviously just outdoes everything he could wish for. But he is good, right? Don't get it twisted. He is good. He's not bad. He's not crazy, but he's not bad. He's good, right? You can cope with him, right? I don't like this negativity people have. He is probably the worst 5-star. He is the worst 5-star, right? But I don't want to put him, I guess I'll put him below because I actually really like Himiko, right? Again, I'm biased. I like every character in this game. I like almost every character in this game. I don't like Bronya. That's the only one I don't like. It's the only character in this game I don't like. I like everyone else. I love her character, like in the story, like as a person. Great character, great design. Just don't like her skill set. But she's obviously crazy broken, but yeah. Veld, also sort of underrated. I don't want to put him in S tier. He is S tier worthy for sure. His technique alone before you fight is probably what the hell? His technique before you fight is probably the best technique in the entire game. Because if it's against a boss, right? If it gets like in the Forgotten Halls, they're slowed, and then you also imprison them for 1 turn. And they're even more slowed. So you can usually roll the first phase before they can move. And the second phase, a lot of characters, like if you build them right with like a lot of speed, you'll be able to get like 3-4 attacks in before they can move. His ultimate also gives you a very unique damage amplify if you have his funny trace. This one. To use the damage received by the targets by 12% for 2 turns. This is a unique buff that no other character has. This is not a damage increase to your spell. or like your ability, this is a damage taken increase, right? So the way like damage like buff stacks, this is going to be one of the biggest damage increases you can have, because you're not going to be overlapping them with different types of damage increases, right? If you have 2 attack increases, you get diminishing returns, because if you're already attacking, you're increasing your attack by 50%. If you get another 50%, that's not a 50% increase, that's a 25% increase, damage-wise in that sense. So having different sources of damage increases is really, really good, and this is a unique one no one else has, so it's really good, really, really good. And he himself can do like really solid damage too, like really, really solid damage. So yeah, really crazy character. Again, I think I might put him S tier. I really want to. Just know that I really want to, okay? Like, he is right here, okay? He's like right here. I'd round him up to S tier. But the thing is, I feel like he's hard to fit on a lot of teams too at the same time. Because he's sort of skill point hungry, right? You want to skill with him, his skill's really good. And then, like, your support wants the skills, and then your DPS wants the skills. You can't run him and Bronya in the same team. Unless you have E1 Bronya and you get lucky every time. That's like the only way you can run those two together. You'd have to run them with Ting Yun. Like Ting Yun, Natasha, him, and a DPS. You could run that with work fine, like Bailu instead of Natasha, like a healer. That would work fine, but yeah, I don't know. I'll put him S tier. I'm trying to convince myself he's A, but he's just really broken. He's really broken. I feel like a lot of people will wake up to it more in the future too. And then Yanqing, I used to be a Yanqing defender. I love this character. I haven't used him in a while. I think he's safe to say he's just A tier. Very solid DPS. Really good chance to freeze enemies, right? Which can kind of come in really handy. Really easy to build because you don't need any crit rate on him, or like you need very little crit rate on him. Because the way you want to play him, you always want to have the Soul Steal active, which provides you with crit chance. And then when you ult, you get 6% crit chance too. So you'll always have decent crit chance for when you do damage. You'll always be guaranteed a crit pretty much. And then he works with like every support in the game too, super well. Overall, really good character, right? It's just if he gets hit once, he'll just be useless for the next turn, and that's kind of annoying. His damage also, like, I don't know why, like, it's good, but it's not, like, I feel like it should be crazier. Like, mine is built super well. I'll get to like 300% crit damage with him and 100% crit rate, like on average. And he will just not do the damage I expect him to do. And he has high attack, so I don't know. Even with supports, like, he doesn't do the damage. Like, he does good damage, but then I use Zayla, and like she with less setup will do, and like worse equipment will just do more than him. And then, you know, that's what separates them. That's why he's an A and she's not. But yeah, I think that was a 5-star tier list. Way longer than I wanted it to be. So yeah, anyway, that's it from me, boys. Good job.